Welcome, everyone. This is Melina Lewis. I am a writer, I'm a marketer, and I'm a yoga instructor and a mom squeezed in somewhere in between. And I'm very excited today that on I Work For Me, we're going to be talking to Liza King. And she is going to be telling us all about her work and what she does and everything that she gets up to, because there are quite a few things, which makes me super excited. She is one of those people who definitely has multiple streams of income going for her. And so, yeah, I think we should not waste any time and jump straight in. So, Liza, I am going...
Hello.
Hello. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Actually, before you even start that, my first ridiculous question. Tell us, when you were growing up as a little girl, what was it you dreamed of being?
So I actually don't know why, but I wanted to become a hairdresser. And I loved the idea of making people look nice and soothing them and just creating something out of nothing. And this was like my earliest memory, like probably when I was around 7 or 8. And I used to cut my grandfather's hair. I used to cut my grandmother's hair. They loved it. I'm sure they went to the hairdresser straight afterwards. But yeah, I was allowed to cut their hair. And I loved it. And for so many years, I believed that I could become a hairdresser. My grandfather even said to me, "My darling, you're not just going to be the hairdresser, you can be the owner of the salon." And that's that kind of like made me start thinking about having my own business already at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, I don't know if you know, I have actually got, well, I don't got nothing anymore. I normally have long hair, and yesterday on Freedom Day, I decided that I'd had enough. And so my husband and I watched a couple of YouTube videos, and then we cut my hair off.
So, did you do the ponytail thing?
Yes, the ponytail thing. And so it's so funny that post hacking at my bush of hair, I chat to you about you wanting to be a hairdresser. So you can't see in person. You can help me a bit. But yeah, that's really, really cool. Okay, so moving on from the young girl who wanted to be a hairdresser, what are you up to now? Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you're up to.
So I decided to reinvent my life about 3 to 4 years ago. I was heavy in corporate. I was one of the marketing managers for a large pharmaceutical company, and it really wasn't serving me at all. I had a lot of things going on the side, little side hustles, music and coaching, and I started studying energy healing in that time. I started in 2015. I just had a calling for that. So what I eventually did was sort of revolve, or call it revolve rather than evolve my life into something that I wanted. And with that, I became a business owner. I joined my husband in his business, and we have online health shops. I do marketing, branding, and promotions, and also strategy work. Just, from off my marketing background, I'm able to lean on that quite heavily to derive income at the moment. And then I also do a bit of singing and voiceover work. So, yeah, pretty much what interests me for the day. Yeah.
But
I don't do things that I don't want to do anymore, basically.
Well, that's wonderful. And I feel like there's a point that you get to... I can't speak for men, I'm not one, but I know as women, you kind of reach an age where you go, right, this is what I'm prepared to do, and this is what I'm not prepared to do. And I love that you took that on and you made it happen. I'm actually curious about your singing. Tell me a little bit about singing.
Oh, okay. So when I was younger, when I was at school, I really wanted to sing. But I was extremely shy and a bit of a wallflower. So there was a variety concert at school, and I was like, I'm going to sing. No one knew that I sang, and I must have practiced that song 1,000 times. And when I got on stage, I sang it and pulled it off perfectly. Like people wouldn't believe that I had actually done that. And in that time, we didn't have like backing tracks or anything. So I had to use like a Richard Clydeman piano recital as my backing track. And I felt so good about it, but I still remained the very shy, low self-esteem kind of a person until the age of 35. And then I was, no, I really want to sing now. I want to just get this out my system. And I started singing in karaoke bars by myself. I used to go by myself to karaoke bars that I could get used to singing in front of people.
In Cape Town?
Without my family there. Because as soon, at the Grand West Super Sport Bar. Yeah, that was very special. Because karaoke bars tend to be in special places. And I met a lot of interesting people, but I gained confidence. And then it got like, that was, doing 2 songs a night just wasn't enough for me. And I joined a band. And the band was called Medium Rare. And I came in as the backing singer, kind of like started taking over as the main singer, so that the boys didn't like that. And I got hoofed. Oh. And then I went onto Gumtree and I found another band called Prawn. So I went from steak to fish. And I became their singer. And we did that for about 10 years. And we kind of moved on, and then we did another band, and so it's evolved. And now my husband and I do our own music, because every time you join a band and somebody leaves, it's like kind of smoke in the air, because it's original music. You can't recreate that with somebody else coming in. So now we create our own music, and we absolutely love it. We're doing exactly what we want to do. We built a little home studio. We've got a mic. We've got a recording setup. So in lockdown, we've literally recorded 4 songs.
Oh, that is absolutely divine. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And another friend of mine sent me a video. Her husband he's also very talented in movies and stuff, but he also plays the guitar and likes to create songs. And he's also been making some lovely songs. And it's just so lovely to see people creating music in their homes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. I love that. Wow.
My father and mother actually have got to the point where they send me a daily request. So I've got an app on my phone, the Smule app. I don't know if you know it. It's just where you can sing along to backing tracks. And then it takes a video of you singing. And so that's the way we communicate. So they go, today we want Roberta Flack's I'm Killing Me Softly. Like, okay, that's my request for today for my parents. I
love it. Yeah. You have to send me that app. I think we'll add that to the end notes, definitely. I love the idea of that app. Brilliant. Okay. Oh, I'm going to use that. Okay. I have these grand delusions. My husband says that I have grand delusions of singing very beautifully. Obviously, he's listening to me and I'm singing. So, Anyway, perhaps we should move on from this. Okay. So back to your business, which is obviously quite diverse. Yes. Lots of different things going in it, quite creative, healing stuff.
I forgot to mention that earlier. Yeah.
Ah, yes. So how many income streams have you got going at the moment?
So, like, if I have to count on my fingers, 5, but I may have more. But it's just, some are erratic, some are not, some are just one-offs. I would say probably 5 fixed income streams and then a couple of extras here and there.
Okay, and can you tell us about those 5 different things?
Yeah, so currently for my marketing and branding business, I have regular income coming from consistent clients. So I've built up a relationship with one large client and then a couple of smaller ones who consistently give me all their branding work.
Great.
And it's simple stuff. It's, putting a logo on a thing that they're doing a campaign about, or some voiceover work, or whatever it is.
Okay.
Simple stuff. And so it's nice and easy, mm-hmm. Like I don't have to really rack my brain. And then occasionally I get a brief where it's like, okay, how can I execute this in the most creative way? And then they're like, ooh, yay.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have thought of it. So that's one. Then the other 2 are online health stores. So I have an international facing online health store called Human Herbals. And I have another one called High Vibe, which is Rand based.
Okay.
High Vibe is just a site that I'm building to create a place where expats and people who've left South Africa can buy their regular South African front of shop pharmacy products, and also energy-based products. So busy building that. It's still very much in its infancy, but creating a regular income.
Right.
And then the healing. I do healing, a healing practice. So I'm a kinesiologist. We actually don't call it healing, it's healing facilitation, because the body actually heals itself. So we facilitate the healing. And I do that in person or by distance work. And then I also have a business coaching practice where I help small business and entrepreneurs to identify what their niche is, and then how to move forward, how to build a plan on who they are, what they want to offer. Because a lot of businesses start thinking they want to offer something that people need, but you actually need to do it the other way around. You see what lights you up.
Yes.
So I do that as well. And so those are pretty regular. And then I also do content creation work, which is currently I have a contract for that. So I do medical copywriting, which is insanely boring for a creative, but
you make me laugh.
Some income.
You make me laugh. So when I first was introduced to you, I didn't know that you had obviously come out of the medical industry, and you may not know that I do too. So I worked in healthcare advertising. Yep, worked in healthcare advertising.
We might even have spoken.
We might even have spoken, exactly. I won't necessarily ask you who you used to work for, but we can have that discussion later. But so medical copywriting is definitely a thing. And I forced my way through medical copywriting and the referencing that is required. Most people that you have to reference, you say and you have to reference it. So it is very, very difficult work. Wonderful for someone who's detail orientated, terribly hard for someone who is, a bit more creative and all over the space.
Like me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so it is hard work. Not impossible, obviously, if you've got the understanding, but very, very hard. So yes, I've definitely reduced that to 0 in my life. But every now and then
I'm on the verge. Of going, this does not light me up.
I can't.
And I took it on chasing a dollar, but it's taking up too much of my time, my happy time.
Exactly. And I love that. So, okay. So you made that jump, all right, from this very medical kind of corporate environment. I know you can feel the weight of it, hey? And you decided to move to what you love. Okay, so in these current times, what we may find is that a lot of people, and that's really the essence of what I want to do here, is we find that a lot of people may find themselves, unfortunately, unemployed, not necessarily something they wanted to happen, but unfortunately has happened, or rethinking and going, wait a minute, hold on, is this an opportunity for me to think about what I really want and to get out of this and to do something else, something that I love, or something for money, whatever the case may be. And you've done that shift. Can you maybe, help people understand how you did that and how you executed that?
I went all based on how I feel. And in the last year of my working in corporate, I was not feeling good, like in any manner or form. I was driving 2 hours to work, 2 hours back. I worked in Belleville. I lived in Fishhook. I still do, actually. And it just became so incredibly difficult because I never saw my son, I had a boy at 42, like, thank you very much, like a naughty teenager, falling pregnant. And I just was never seeing him. And my husband, the burden was on him. We have 5 kids, by the way, between us. And so the burden was on him, and he was a stay-at-home or work-at-home dad. And I was not involved in the family at all. And it was just travel here, travel there, pressure, bottom line. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And it also became insanely boring because I could do it with my eyes closed, the role that I was in, and there was a glass ceiling. There was no more opportunity to rise or grow. So in my mind, I was like, my life would be so much better if I was working in the healing space or in the space that excites me and lights me up, even if it's doing stuff that's not as high grade as I am doing now. And at that time, I'd already been 2 years into kinesiology. So I already had a sense of what it could be like to be doing that full time.
Right.
to try and earn an income. January, I went back to work after a long holiday, and I went, no, I have to rebirth my life. So I said, I'm going to treat it very symbolically and give myself 9 months to put this thing together.
Okay.
I actually told my immediate boss about my intentions. I said, I'm not sure about my future here. I'll give you my 110 commitments, but by September, I'm going to have made the shift if I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And he was fully supportive and like checking in with me every couple of weeks, like, where you at? What, don't forget, this money and that money. And he made me quite fearful of leaving because, I earned a damn good salary. Damn good.
That's the golden handcuffs, right?
Exactly it. That's exactly the term I used as well. And so what I realized halfway through the 9 months was that I actually had a fallback plan, which was my pension fund. I was like, I've got this money. How about I keep a portion of it as my go-to fund if something doesn't happen? So then I started feeling less fearful because I didn't have to create that massive income every single month to support myself.
Right.
So I politely called it my FU fund. So that the whole world, FU, I can do this.
Great.
And so everyone I've told about the FU fund, because you can gather that in your own way. I think it's very important to have a safety net of financial resource so that you don't have that fear, because the fear literally kept me awake at night. I would be sweating. My chest area would be filled with, I was petrified of leaving my career because I didn't know if I was going to make the money. And I tell you, I've had months where I made 2,000 Rand. And I actually literally went, well, that's the worst month I've ever had. Can't get worse than that.
True story.
Yeah.
True story. It can only be up,
Yeah. And it literally did take 2 years to get myself into the groove of, this is what I want. This is what I want to focus on. These are the type of clients I like. Because you're going to make mistakes. You are. It's not. But those mistakes are all school fees for where you want to be. So you can't expect yourself to be perfect out of a job that you're in, perfectly into the new groove. It's not going to happen that way. You're going to walk through this, like, you're going to get to a couple of glass ceilings, whether it be your beliefs around money, beliefs around how people treat you, beliefs around your own personal boundaries, everything. You will learn so much about yourself if you go it on your own, but you need the safety net. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge, I always think of it as a huge opportunity for personal growth.
Yes.
You've got to have a certain amount of self-belief in what you're doing, and you've just got to kind of start. So I know you kind of used your 9 months for your growing your new baby inside your head, and then you went from
and the baby came out.
The baby
came out.
You resigned,
and the baby changed. The baby came out, and nothing was as I thought it would be.
Like every single baby.
Yeah. And then the teething pains came. It came out and definitely evolved. It's not going to be as you think it is.
Absolutely.
And for that,
and even though, I mean, we talk about, do your market research or your business plan or whatever, although I'm quite a fan of kick it off and that'll evolve. If you've got the right sort of business, you can evolve your business plan as you go along, and that kind of works eventually. But to kind of overanalyze too much doesn't work either, because at the end of the day, you don't really know how people are going to accept your product, your service, whatever it is you're offering. You need to put that thing into the market and see what happens.
And you got to love it.
Yeah, you do.
If you don't love it, you ain't gonna do it.
No, and people will see through that. Your intended customers will be like, this person doesn't like what they do, and it just it smacks of it, and they can see it. So that ability to be genuine is so important.
Authenticity is key. Yes.
Absolutely. And then in terms of so you'd started running your business, it evolved. what did you realize was crucial to keeping the doors open?
When you make a mistake or you have a bad experience, you've got to get up on that horse and carry on riding. You can't sit back and go, oh, I'm such a victim, and this thing went wrong and I'm no good at this, and you've got to push past that. Where, it's like cracking a glass ceiling. You just have to go, well, what can I learn from this? Actually, I learned this. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to try and do that. So the crucial part is believing in yourself and then picking yourself up and carrying on and asking people around you for their input. You can't do it all by yourself. There's just no way. Absolutely. So having go-to people that you can speak to, where you have a shoulder to lean on a little bit and vent. And I've had a few business mentors which have been incredibly inspiring to me. And to pick a business mentor or somebody who actually knows what they're doing and have actually got the money to show that they know what they're doing. A lot of people out there who are still sort of positioning themselves as mentors, but they haven't really cut it yet. So it's just to find those people that have made it. Any local business that you resonate with, go and talk to them. See what Absolutely. They've done. How, And building a little tribe of people that support you and know who you are and help you with making your decisions. Absolutely. And also believe in what you do and can really give you, honest guidance. That's the biggest thing. Hey. Okay. Yeah. So I think those are great learnings. And in terms of running your business, obviously it's been a few years. So what is a hack that you've learned, or your favorite hack for running your business that you think you can share with people? Okay. My hack for today is that 10% of your day should be focused on admin. We tend to get lost in admin, thinking that that's the most important thing, and the admin and the planning, etc. But only 10% of your day maximum should be spent on energy around that. Yes, stay up to date with your admin, your payments, your invoices, etc. But putting those practical systems in place so that you have that nailed. Because 90% of your day should be further split up into 20% should be future-proofing your business. So you must always spend around 20% of your day looking towards new opportunities. How can I change it? After the next 2 months, what will I be doing then? And then the balance of the time will be spent on your existing clients and, supporting what you're doing for them or thinking of something new. So pretty much less admin, more thinking and strategy. Okay. I love that idea. And, I like to listen to, obviously, a lot of podcasts and how people do their day and structure their day. Because as people who work from home, as a lot of us kind of independent workers do, you don't just kind of pitch up at an office at 8, go make your cup of coffee, come sit at your desk, do some work, and then have a meeting, and then, go grab it, come back, have the chat at the water cooler, etc., etc. Your day doesn't kind of evolve in that very officey, structured way. And so it's important to create your own timetable, if you want to put it that way, or rules that you live by. And, I often listen to how authors start their day, because that's important to me, and how they do, and what is the process that they follow. And, a woman said, start the day off like you'd like to end it. If you start the day kind of sitting on Twitter for half an hour, it's probably how the rest of the day is going to go. Exactly. And she's like, she eventually just gives up if she's having one of those days, so she tries to start by like sitting down at her desk and either, writing or editing or checking something. And so I think in terms of structuring your day, it's quite important quickly on, as a business person, to know how to structure your day. And to be able to say, and I love that you say 10% admin. I'm like, woohoo! I didn't want to do it anyway. 10%. So 10% admin. And then what about things like, where would you put, we do have to sometimes sit on social media.
It may be for marketing, it may be for research, etc. I find that even just doing that gets me caught up in other things. But would you slot that into your day somewhere when you're in the bathroom or making a cup of tea? Where would you put that?
That's a tough one, a tricky one for me, because I've always kind of shot off the hip with my social media marketing and so on. I know it's important, but it's more important for my clients. I don't really focus so much on my own business marketing, which is kind of like the hairdresser not having a nice haircut kind of thing. But definitely need to factor it in. And I believe in planning and sort of knowing what you want to achieve for the month, and then saying, okay, well, these are the days that I'm going to post something, and it must be something of value. And if it's not of value, I'm not going to post it.
Right.
Basically. Because a lot of people are posting waffle to fill their feed with content, but they're not getting much engagement around because it's not that relevant. And I also believe in creating my own content, not copy pasting from somebody else's content. So I like to digest what I read, and I do read a lot of other people in my sort of realm, coaching, etc. And then I like to put that in my own words, and that's So anyway, so the timing, and that would form part of my 70% of the day. Marketing would sit in there as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, that helps. Brilliant.
And sometimes I feel more inspired than other days, and if I'm not inspired, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I think so. I often, when I say to clients, the thing is that sure, you can post something every day, but after a while it either starts to look very mechanical or insincere, and that it just also shows, and your real true engagement is definitely going to drop off, so not worth it. Rather do 1 or 2 posts a week that kind of, I want to say, come from the heart. I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but are genuine. So
yes, but that speak to your tribe. You got to respect people on your feed.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so moving on from, so now obviously you've got how you plan your day, to you spoke about looking into the future and what you want to do for clients in the future and your business, etc. So talk to me a little bit about goals or goal setting. Do you do that sort of thing? I think you do. And how do you do that? And what would you advise people to do?
So I have, and I'm going to use a corporate term, an overarching goal, and that's a rand value. So that goal is always top of my mind. And I also have a goal for how much I personally want to invoice or create on a monthly basis. And that's my sort of sub goal. So I will always work towards those 2 goals, as according to anything that I do. Right. I also work according to what I'm worth. Yeah. So if a client request comes in and it's going to take up more of my time than what I believe, that so my profits are super low, then I'm going to go, or that does not form part of my goal. My goal is to earn X amount per hour. This does not form part of the goal. I'm allowed to say no, and I let that one go. So the goals will be around my personal value, what I want to achieve for the month, and then what I want to achieve for my financial year. And so far, that seems to be working. I also use the law of attraction. So I use a lot of visualization. I see my invoices. I count my invoices in my visualization. I see the rand values. I see the zeros. I see happy clients. See the kind of things that I'd like to create. I see how it feels within me to make that. So I'm very law of attraction based with my business as well. So, and those are my goals. And the last goal is I must a day with at least 50% of my day having had fun, because otherwise that's not living. So I have fun with what I'm doing. I laugh and giggle when I invoice, and I show my husband, look. You've got to have fun with it. If it gets too serious, then the flow stops completely.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Totally. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay.
I absolutely love that manifest or visualize exactly what you want to see and how you want it to be. I suppose the tricky thing, some people may say, yeah, well, I want to earn like 5 million rand a month or whatever, but like, so how would you respond if, as a business coach now wearing that hat, someone said to you, well, I want to earn this amount of money a month, so I'm going to visualize that. How would you respond?
That's great. That's great. You can visualize that, but you got to know that somewhere inside you, there's some resistance to that. So the first things first, you've got to unpack all your resistance to that before that can flow into your existence. Personal experience, yes. I've had those dreams of earning XYZ per month, and then you realize all the things that are lying in your belief system that are stopping you from doing that. Right. So go for it. Visualize the 5 million. Just don't put this month's date on it until you've unpacked all your resistance to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, that's great. Thank you. I love that response. There is so much that we don't know we're resistant to, and we kind of go deeper. But hopefully,
and money.
Oh, money.
Money is the big one. And I recently ran a little challenge amongst a group of spiritual sister tribe. We call ourselves the Golden Girls. There's 4 of us, and we had a little money challenge, and we started with 1,000 rand, what we would do with that 1,000 rand. And we went up to 2,000 the next day, and 4,000 the next day, and 8,000 the next day, 16 the next time. We all got stuck at 32,000. We were like, 32,000 just isn't enough to do that big thing. But also there's too many small things that we need to do. And we realized we had a glass ceiling that low already. And then we started crashing through those glass ceilings. Like by the time we got to, I think, 30 million, it was like, we're in the flow now. And each and one of us, after that particular, we did it for a month exercise, we started creating the most amazing money manifestations, because we had actually made it fun, and we had visualized cool things we would do with that money, like really real things that we would do if we had that money. We really lived into it. And after that, I can write a whole book about it, Melina. The things that we've experienced, including my own personal journey, where it was like, wow, that happened this year. The big numbers started rolling in, and I was like, oh, just happens to be after my money manifestation exercise as well. So I think it's something we can market and put out there to people to grow, to dump some beliefs around money. Some people actually don't want money. They just don't know they don't want it because of what comes with it.
Yes.
And we had to knock over a few of those. Yeah. So.
That's brilliant. Well, I hope you do turn that into a workshop, whether as part of your business coaching or your healing or whatever aspect of your business. But I think a lot of people would benefit greatly from that kind of process and walking through that, and getting better insight into what they really do want.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know what they want as well, money-wise. They don't know what they want. They just know how they want to feel, but they can't put a value to what they think they should earn. And that's, if you can't focus on that rand value, then by the law of attraction, it can't come to you. You need to know what it is that you want and how you want to feel when you receive it. And if there's anxiety and fear around it, it ain't happening.
Amazing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so if people now, they make the jump, they know what they're doing, they're going to try their business out, hopefully succeeds, they learn some lessons. I always feel like some of the big lessons are around boundaries and what not to do. So you've already kind of given us insight by saying, well, you won't work for a certain amount. For some people, that's quite a scary thing to say no to a client. I often feel like I have to dig really, really deep to be able to say no to a client or a possible, even though I know it's a bad decision, and you get better at realizing when it's going to be a bad decision. That also takes a bit of learning and knocking your head against the wall. But that ability and strength to say no to someone is very tricky. So obviously you've developed that, and you know what won't work for you from a money perspective. Any other boundaries that you've developed to look after yourself best?
Yeah. And this I had to learn the hard way, because I was digging around for every single dollar I could find and using all my available time to do that, because my husband and I went through a very bad time. Towards the middle of last year, one of his businesses crashed. So it was on me. I had to go. So I spent all my time. But what I was finding is I was spending my time on all the wrong things. So my boundary now for myself is this the best way I can use my time? If not, can I hand it over to somebody else within my circle of influence that I can still derive the income and pay them? Because sometimes you don't need to say no personally. You can say no. Well, sometimes you don't need to say no, but for you personally to work on it, you need to say no. So what I've done is I've created a list of subbies, basically, that if I find I have a client where I don't personally want to spend that time because it's going to impede on my happiness and my personal time, then I have a list of people that I can sub it out to, who are perfectly happy and have their boundary about what they want to earn and their level of skill. So that might be really useful as well. If you don't want to say no to a client, then build up a network of people that could possibly take it over from you, so that you can still service the client, but you don't use your personal time for that.
Yes. And I'm also sometimes, I even feel maybe altruistic is a strong word, but it's quite nice to sometimes hand over work to someone you know who will be grateful for that work.
Yes.
No, it's not about passing on a horrible client or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But like I had the opportunity to do a corporate yoga class for a client that was far away. And I could tell by the interaction that they wanted time when I wanted that time to spend with my children. And it would have to be in the afternoon, and it would have been lots of traffic and frustration. And I think the yoga class I would have ended up giving would have been terrible, because I would have been so angry at having to spend that time away from my kids and teaching yoga. And that's totally against what yoga is.
Yes.
And so, but I had a friend that I was able to pass that client onto, and she was thrilled and grateful, and the times worked for her.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it was quite nice to be able to do that. And so, yes, I lost out on a client, but it was better for everyone, I think. And like you say, giving it to someone who can do it better, faster. I'm a big fan of that, especially when it comes to editing. So, yeah. Okay, I actually just can't edit. Let's just put it that way.
Love editing, by the way. Love it.
Do you? Okay.
I do. I just don't want to create it myself.
I'm so glad. Oh no, I'm so bad at it. So yeah. So there's definitely, I think it's finding those people that can support you and you can work with. In the Cape, I didn't find this as much in Joburg. Maybe it's a city thing, but definitely in the Cape, I found that people are very open to the idea of swapping or bartering, if you want to put it that way. Where
yes.
An hour of marketing here, and you can give me X products, and we'll swap in that way. And it's fantastic. A lot of people, I've chatted to a lot of different people, and a lot of people work in that way, and it helps. If it's a small kind of exchange, it really, really works quite nicely. And I think people should think about that as well.
I'm also a big fan of affiliate programs. So if you have somebody who is, so I have a few people that work with me that I guide and mentor, but they find me business, so they get a cut of my business. So if they find me branding work, then they get a proportion of that, and they learn how to do the deal. So I show them from beginning to end how the deal works, how I work my pricing, what I factor in, timelines, etc. So they're learning in the process, and they're earning a sort of commission. I call it an affiliate fee. So that's very useful as well. It's just to create a network of people that'll feed stuff into you.
I love that. That's a great idea. And I always think it's more than happy to, pay that, if you want to call it, pay that small fee, that introduction fee, or whatever you want to do it, or, if you pay a monthly or something like that, for getting more work. Like it's
definitely.
Yeah, value for money. Rather have
work
and pay a little bit off of your fee to actually get that work and sit there twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, and also it's money you would never have had, and you're duplicating yourself. Every time you teach somebody, you're duplicating what. So if they go off and do their own thing, that's also fine. Then at least you've helped someone and you've scored a little bit with your business. So I just believe in sharing is caring and helping as many people as I can to learn the process of how to think around business and creating.
Absolutely. Yes.
Like
definitely. Oh, beautiful. Love that. Okay. So last one, tell us advice to someone starting their own gig. What would be your gem piece of advice?
Okay. So starting your own gig, the safety net. Okay, so even if it's a contract or a regular source of income or something that as a very basic basis that you have to carry you through financially for the first couple of months, I firmly believe that that's important. So even if it's teaching a yoga class for yourself, it's just knowing that you've got those 6 clients or however many it is, to just take care of the very basic requirements that you have financially. Then only work with things that light you up. Try and get involved in networks, business networks and other networks where other people will be able to speak about your product and your service, because you can't do it alone. So if you can go into your local Facebook groups, or you go into your local mom groups, or there's always a business group in every single suburb that get together and have chats and network markets and speak about their own, wherever you can. The opportunity to speak about your business and your offering is very important. Don't sit inside your home and work by yourself. You've got to duplicate yourself in as many ways as possible.
Absolutely.
So that would be my advice, is to get your name out there through word of mouth, through your different networks and friendships and friends. I always thought that I need to go and find new clients. But if you can make a genuine appeal to friends to say this is, and be clear about your offering, so have a 2-sentence offering that you offer. Be clear about your offering, that they can go and spread the word for you. I think that's also very important.
Fantastic.
But you've got to rely on your friendship base.
Absolutely.
As yucky as it sometimes feels.
Yeah, but I think it's a request, and those who can or will, offer to help will put you in touch. I had exactly that situation. I was launching my first book, and I put a request out to friends in Johannesburg, and I said, I'm coming back up. I'd like to try and get my book to as many people as possible. Could I have a little, gin tasting at your house, and we talk books and gin? And most women were like, yeah. I'm not too sure if it was about the book. Anyway, but
the gin.
It was about my book. But they were very keen to host as friends, and it was most of the events were just fantastic to connect with people firstly, and to see a friend and a friendly face, and then just to have that lovely event and meet new people through that kind of next degree of friendship. And very quickly the circle expands. So simple things like that can get the word out very easily. So yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. Liza, you've been absolutely amazing. It's been so divine to talk to you. I feel like on the other side of COVID, we've got to do a coffee because
yes, for sure.
I'd love to connect. We can moan about medical copywriting offline. So would you just share with everyone what's the best way to get hold of you? Obviously, you've got a few kind of different pages, but what would be the best way to get hold of you? And yeah, please include your singing as well, etc.
Okay, so I've got a couple of sites you can get hold of me through. But my company's name is called The Joy Jar, so I'm available on Facebook. I have a website, thejoyjar.co.za, where I have a contact request on there. And then for energy for healing facilitation, my kinesiology practice is called King Kinesiology. So I'm also on Facebook, also have a website, .co.za. Yeah, and then singing, those are all available on SoundCloud under various handles. LizaKingemail@gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that's Liza with an Liza, King, email @gmail.com. Okay, great.
Yes, that's right.
Super.
Thank you.
Got hold of you. Thank you so much, Liza. It was really stunning speaking to you, and I know we will definitely chat further.
Thank you, Melina.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.